Return of hard power. This opinion examines the resurgence of military and economic coercion in global affairs and defends the continued relevance of soft power. Hard power has returned with a vengeance to center stage in geopolitics. Hard power is a jargon term referring to the use of military force or economic coercion to influence other states. With a vengeance is an idiomatic expression meaning with great intensity or force. This sentence means that coercive tactics are once again dominant in world politics, not that its importance ever diminished. This sentence emphasizes that hard power was always essential, even if it seemed less prominent. That will not happen. This sentence underlines the permanence of hard power's role. Military force will remain a key power resource in international affairs. This sentence states that armies and weapons continue to be fundamental levers of state influence. But there was hope that wars would be abjured as a means to settle interstate differences, and the use of force would be an option of last resort. Abjured is a verb meaning formally renounced or rejected. Last resort is a phrase meaning the final option after all others fail. This sentence recalls the aspiration to limit war and reserve force only for extreme cases. Dialogue and diplomacy, rather than military or economic coercion, would become the preferred policy choice for states. This sentence describes the ideal of resolving disputes through negotiation instead of threats. And soft power, the power of persuasion, would be utilized much more to pursue foreign policy goals and build a country's global influence. Soft power is a technical term coined by Joseph Nye, meaning influence achieved through attraction, culture, values, policies. This sentence explains the complementary role of persuasion to hard tactics. Not so today. This sentence delivers a blunt contrast, indicating that the previous hopes have not been realized. Powerful countries and regional powers are using hard power to try to bend other states to their will. Bend to their will is an idiomatic expression meaning force compliance. Airman, this sentence means that coercion is routinely used to compel other governments. The threat or the use of force has become an option of first and not last resort for them, and the main way of resolving disagreements and imposing their will. Option of first resort, contrasted with last resort, underscores the preference for force. Quotation marks around resolving indicate a skeptical stance toward military solutions. This sentence means that states default to coercion rather than negotiation. Israel's war on Gaza, its attacks on Iran, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, U.S. bombardment of Iran, and India's military action against Pakistan all testify to the increasing use of force. This sentence lists recent examples showing how military action has surged worldwide. All these actions have defied international law and the legal prohibition on the use of force. This sentence asserts that these interventions violate treaties and UN norms. They have been carried out with impunity, further fragmenting an already fraying global order and undermining multilateralism and systems of international cooperation. With impunity is an idiomatic expression meaning without punishment or consequence. Fraying is a verb meaning unraveling or weakening. This sentence argues that unchecked aggression weakens global governance structures. Global norms that de-emphasize the coercive use of hard power have been willfully ignored by them in pursuit of their goals. This sentence means that international rules against force are deliberately sidelined. This modern version of gunboat diplomacy has seen the greater use or the threat of force to secure political and economic objectives. Gunboat diplomacy is a historical metaphor for using naval power or threats to achieve foreign policy aims. This sentence links today's coercion to the colonial-era practice of intimidation. This is pushing the world towards a Hobbesian state of lawlessness. Hobbesian alludes to philosopher Thomas Hobbes and his vision of a chaotic state of nature. This sentence warns of a descent into anarchy absent shared rules. The rising salience of hard power in international affairs is reflected in how countries, especially big powers, have been augmenting their hard power resources. Salience is a noun meaning prominence or importance. Augmenting is a verb meaning increasing or enhancing. This sentence notes that states are visibly ramping up their military and economic coercive capabilities. The spike in global defense spending is evidence of this. Spike is a noun meaning a sharp increase. This sentence points to the surge in military budgets as proof. It has reached a new high as countries big and small deem increasing their hard power assets to be essential to promoting their goals and secure themselves in an unstable international environment. Deem is a verb meaning consider or judge. This sentence means that all states now view stronger armies and coercive tools as vital. With use of military force and economic coercion dominating geopolitics, does soft power still count? This rhetorical question challenges whether persuasion retains value amid coercion. The way economic coercion is being used by the Trump administration also testifies to the current surge in the exercise of hard power. Economic coercion is a jargon term for using sanctions or tariffs to pressure states. Testifies to is an idiomatic phrase meaning provides evidence of. This sentence introduces the U.S. example of weaponizing trade. President Donald Trump has imposed a trade war by slapping higher tariffs on almost every country in the world to extract concessions in negotiations conducted under the pressure of threats and punitive actions. Slapping higher tariffs is a colloquial phrasal verb meaning to impose steep import duties. Extract concessions is an idiomatic expression meaning force compromises. This sentence describes how the U.S. uses punitive tariffs as a coercive tool. The use of coercive economic power to browbeat countries has involved no distinction between allies and adversaries. Browbeat is a verb meaning to intimidate or bully. All of this sentence means that all trading partners face pressure equally. All are being compelled to renegotiate trade deals, with tariffs used as a punitive hard power tool for economic gain. Compelled is a verb meaning forced. This sentence explains that countries must redo agreements under duress. The signal sent by this approach is that non-compliance with U.S. demands will entail a heavy cost. Entail is a verb meaning involve or cause, where this sentence means that failure to comply carries severe economic penalties. The consequence of this form of hyper-unilateralism is to upend not just the global trade order, but also establish norms of engagement between countries, with unknowns outpacing the knowns. Hyper-unilateralism is a coined term for aggressively acting alone. Upend is a verb meaning to overturn or disrupt. Unknowns outpacing the knowns is a figurative way to say that uncertainty exceeds certainty. This sentence warns that such one-sided tactics sow confusion and break long-standing rules. Does all this mean soft power has become less important or relevant? This question re-raises the debate about the value of persuasion. Is diplomacy devalued by the increased use of hard power? This question asks whether negotiation is undermined. Is the practice of co-opting others rather than coercing them being discarded? Co-opting is a verb meaning to win over or incorporate willingly. This question wonders if attraction strategies are abandoned in favor of force. Has the concept of soft power become dated, as some analysts claim? This question considers whether soft power is now obsolete. The short answer is no, as it remains an important component of international politics, a key tool in the arsenal of countries to build influence and shape perceptions. Arsenal is a metaphor meaning a collection of available resources. This sentence affirms that soft power still matters for shaping opinion and alliances. Therefore, despite the prevailing dominance of hard power, it would be a mistake to conclude that soft power, which is the ability to shape the preferences of others and achieve outcomes through attraction, no longer counts on the global stage. This sentence cautions against dismissing the enduring role of persuasion. In fact, while the U.S. and other states are exercising hard power, China has increasingly been pursuing a soft power strategy to complement the increase in its economic and military strength. This sentence introduces China's contrasting emphasis on attraction alongside coercion. This has helped it expand its global influence, build trust, and secure greater cooperation from countries. This sentence notes the practical benefits China gains from soft power. Not surprisingly, it has shot to number 2 position among 193 countries in the latest Global Soft Power Index compiled by Brand Finance, the London-based consultancy firm. Shot to is a phrasal verb meaning to rise quickly. This sentence cites China's rise in global rankings as evidence. This is the result of its multifaceted economic, diplomatic, and cultural strategy to boost its global image. This sentence explains that a broad approach underpins China's soft power gains. China's Belt and Road Initiative, with 150 participating countries, technological advances, especially in AI, development assistance, investments in green technology, and cultural diplomacy, are all aspects of its vigorous and diverse soft power efforts. Belt and Road Initiative is jargon for China's global infrastructure and investment program. This sentence lists the key pillars of China's attraction strategy. So is its active role in multilateral institutions, as well as speaking for the Global South. Multilateral institutions are organizations with many member states, for example, UN. This sentence notes that China's participation in global forums also enhances its appeal. Not surprisingly, it has shot to number 2 position among 193 countries in the latest Global Soft Power Index compiled by Brand Finance, the London-based consultancy firm. This sentence underscores China's rapid rise in soft power rankings. Joseph Nye, who introduced the notion of soft power decades ago, considered the question of whether soft power was still significant in today's world. This sentence references the scholar who conceptualized soft power. An insightful piece in the current issue of Foreign Affairs, co-authored with Robert Keohane, written just before Nye passed away, argued that Trump, inordinately committed to coercion, did not understand soft power or its role in foreign policy, and relied only on deploying hard power. Inordinately is an adverb meaning excessively. Quotation marks highlight the author's critical characterization. This sentence cites expert critique of reliance on coercion alone. This was a losing strategy in the long run. This sentence states that pure hard power tactics are ultimately self-defeating. This is because if a country is attractive, it won't need to rely as much on incentives and penalties to shape the behavior of others. This sentence explains that appeal reduces the need for coercive carrots and sticks. Moreover, if allies see it as benign and trustworthy, they are more persuadable and likely to follow that country's lead. Benign is an adjective meaning kindly or harmless. Persuadable is a verb meaning open to influence. This sentence argues that trust enhances leadership and coalition building. But if they see their trading partner as a bully, they are more likely to be reluctant partners and seek to reduce their long-term dependence. This sentence warns that intimidation breeds resistance and decoupling. The authors also posit that in a world characterized by growing interdependence, securing cooperation is essential, which soft power strategies are very effective at doing. This sentence underscores that attraction is vital in an interconnected world. While the exercise of hard power seems to be the dominant global trend today, soft power continues to have its own place and value in international politics. This sentence reiterates that coercion and attraction must coexist in statecraft. This means that countries can advance their interests not just through military and economic strength, but also by persuasion and attraction, which encourages other states to cooperate and align with them. This sentence summarizes the dual strategy of combining hard and soft power. Soft assets cannot replace hard resources, but can help states earn respect and trust, so essential for the successful promotion of national goals. This sentence concludes that persuasion complements, rather than substitutes for, coercion. The writer is a former ambassador to the US, UK, and UN. Published in Dawn, July 28, 2025.